Hey, I bet none of my friends will share this. I said, I bet none of my friends will share this. I bet none of my friends. Unbelievable.
Hey, fun fans, it's We Enjoy. And the main event this week is Halloween 5, The Revenge, Eric, of Michael Myers. We are the Mattitude Eric. I'm Matt Fowler. Say hello, Eric Goldman.
Hello, everybody. Yes, although it's one of those movies where the actual movie title is not the marketed title. So the actual movie just says Halloween 5. Even though obviously all of the materials around the movie and every release.
You mean when the credits roll?
When the credits roll,
yeah.
The opening credits of this movie just say it's Halloween 5.
Well,
that happens other times.
But also the colon, The Revenge of Michael Myers, is implied because it says Halloween 5, and then what follows is The Revenge of Michael Myers.
Eric. Right, you are now watching.
You are now watching the tagline, the subtitle of the movie. So we're gonna get into that and the added supernatural elements of that. I have to say, Eric, there are like two parts of this movie I think are actually pretty damn good that could have worked if they just put it in a different
there's
Halloween
a couple
movie.
Parts I like too, but there's a lot of parts I don't.
And the bad parts far outweigh the good parts, as we'll find with many of the Halloween movies going forward. But and then let's get into some news. First, though, I have to say I went to How Did This Get Made on Saturday night. They started touring again.
Yeah.
And it was a blast. It was really fun. It's also was weird because, not weird, but just it was in the Winspear Opera House in Dallas, which I've been to a couple times to see musicals like Book of Mormon and Hadestown and stuff like that. But it's just a really striking place with 4 balconies. It goes up like it doesn't go deep, but it goes tall. And so they were very struck. Paul, June, and Jason were very struck with like the look of it, but then Paul also made his way up for audience questions to each 4 balconies.
Oh wow, funny. All 4.
But last night I saw that they posted on Instagram,
and then he leapt from one to the other like Seth Rollins, like he took a bump.
He was just an Ethan Hunt dive, like doing his own stunts. So that Jason, so they did New Orleans, Dallas here, and then Houston, and then Jason tested positive for COVID, which I don't know if those who listen to that podcast know how paranoid
he's been the most paranoid of all of them.
He was the one who was in his house the longest. He's the one who like double or triple masks.
And at this point, he was the only one who still hadn't gotten it. Yeah.
Right. But in this season of everyone who never got it is getting it, he got it. And so they are postponing their 3 or 4 other summer tour dates. Anyway, it was a good time, except for Jason Mantzoukas getting COVID from one of the shows. I don't know. I'd like to think it was in Dallas, but it probably was. But also, we did American Werewolf in Paris, which I had never seen, Eric, but I did watch. We watched it beforehand, like the week beforehand, but we went to see this show. But I always there's a conversation to be had at a future date about sequels to movies that were known for their practical horror effects that now just use a ton of CG. And it's really strange. So we're talking about like The Thing or even the Indiana Jones movies or this movie or American Werewolf in London. It was so known for its groundbreaking horror prosthetic effects that like to see everything turned into computer generated, not even good computer generated effects. Because as we've already pointed out, like there were good movies with CGI, like Lost World was the same year as this. So
right.
But yeah, it was a blast. So that was my weekend.
That's awesome. I went to How Did This Get Made once years ago for Hobbs and Shaw. I'd like to do it again. They obviously do a lot of shows here in LA.
Was Adam Scott in that?
Adam Scott was there, and Nicole Byer. Adam Scott, who does every Fast and Furious movie with them.
And apparently other Vin Diesel movies. Just not even Fast and Furious movies.
I've never seen American Werewolf in Paris in its entirety, but yes, it's infamous, of course, for shoddy CGI as a follow-up to a movie that's such a groundbreaking makeup effects movie that it's the movie that first won the first Oscar for makeup, which we often lament these days. Makeup goes to like a movie that made someone look older or like more British, when there's like all this great special effects makeup.
Well, if that's the case, the M. Night Shyamalan's Old should have won all the awards.
It should have. Oh yeah, if we ever do, well, one day, it's funny. I went this weekend to see The Thing, which Matt had just done a few days before.
Yeah,
at his
I saw it
Alamo
last
Draft
week.
House.
Yeah.
I saw it at Alamo Draft House, not at New Beverly like I expected to. I could have seen it at either on the same night. I had so much Thing choice here in LA.
You decided to drive the farthest. I think.
Because it was notably earlier, because I had done a full day at Disneyland with some friends the day before and was very tired, but still wanted to see The Thing. But yeah, The Thing prequel, if we ever do The Thing and The Thing prequel from 2011, I think, infamously that movie, and I don't even know the full story, and maybe if we ever do these movies, I'll look into it. But notably, they announced that movie as, we're going to do practical effects because we know everyone loves the practical effects and The Thing so much, and filmed it that way, and then changed it. Like they didn't like how they turned out or something. So it was like even more of a kind of like sad sort of clusterfuck of like, we know you want practical effects in The Thing. We're going to give it to you. And then no, they didn't. They changed it with quickly, shoddily done CG. So
what a strange concept for a movie too. Like, I wonder what happened before the dog ran up to the. I mean, because the whole part, those. I assume a lot of our listeners have seen The Thing, but like they actually go and like walk through the destroyed research station that The Thing was at beforehand, and we're able to sort of piece together, and it's the unknown element that makes it scary. So it's like, why be like, what if we learned everything that happened? Like,
it's all weird. And of course, there is wonderful, great, invisible CG constantly. But when it's done quickly and shoddily, it's very blatant. And when you're doing a follow-up to something that is so acclaimed for its beautiful practical effects, it's notable.
I think I can't remember if I just told you if it was on the podcast, but when I was had Crystal Skull on in the background, that was another striking thing, was like that it was just like CG animals and insects and things that we used to see for real in Indiana Jones. And 3 Indiana Jones movies now were all computer generated. And I know a lot of people have several bones to pick about that movie, but for me, that's the most jarring thing, honestly. Okay, let's get into some news here. The first news is kind of We Enjoy related, because we did the entire franchise, including Spiral from the Book of Saw, and that is that there's a new Saw movie announced. Surprise, surprise, Lando in disguise, Jigsaw in disguise. Saw is coming back for its 10th movie. And whether it's called Saw X or Saw 10 or even called something completely different. Is it from the Book of Saw, Eric? Is it from the Book of Saw? I don't know. But it's going to be coming out in October. What is it? What did you write here? 27th, 2023. Directed by Kevin Greutert, if I'm saying his name correctly, who was an editor on many films and then directed Saw 6 and Saw 3D, I believe.
Yes. And notably, I mentioned this on Twitter, Saw 6, which is, a lot of people would say it's one of the best. Certainly, I think most people say it's the best of this latter half of Saw.
Of the Hoffman half, yes.
It stands out, but I just say of the latter half because there's 2 without Hoffman that are bad. But very notably, Saw 3D, aka Saw the Final Chapter, not good, but one of my favorite crazy that suck stories, which is that forced to direct that movie. He was supposed to direct Paranormal Activity 2, and Lionsgate was like, no, they were sort of so weird and territorial that Paranormal Activity was the new kid on the block that they contractually forced him to make a movie he didn't want to make at the very last minute, which does give him some leniency on the fact
but also we talked, and you can listen to us talk all about that on our full Saw recap, which I think we chopped up and put together in a melange form, and sort of I think we strung all the episodes together. You could just go back in the episodes. Okay. But yeah, so at this point, Eric, could they just make Jigsaw alive? I mean, we're doing Halloween right now, and we're going to get up into some crazy bring Michael Myers back from the deaths. We've already done it a couple times already, and we're going to do it even worse going forward. Can they just say, hey, he's alive?
I don't think so. I don't think they can.
Do you think the fans of that series are actually too invested in the actual continuity, even if they retcon a ton of shit, that they would really object to bringing back John Kramer?
So. There was a statement with the press release that was interesting, And it was the producer saying, "We have been listening to what the fans have been asking for and are hard at work planning a movie that saw aficionados and horror fans alike will love. And part of that is giving the reins to Kevin Greutert, director of Saw 6, which is still one of the fans' favorites in the entire series. More details to be revealed soon." That we have been listening to what the fans have been asking for part is interesting just because it's like, obviously people were not happy with Spiral, and there was many things about they weren't happy with, but one of them was that it was so disconnected, more than I think we thought. We thought it would connect more at the end to the others than it ended up doing. Right. And so I think they're going to go back in on the crazy canon of the, like, this has to be as much, it's like one of those things, it's a feature and a bug. Like, we make fun of it, but we love it. Like
what is Carrie Elwes doing?
Retcon, you know,
what is Carrie Elwes up to? Like, what can he do? Right. And Matt Passmore, like,
Carrie Elwes is Mission Impossible in the next Mission Impossible. But
I know, but I mean, like right now, I mean, right this second, like right in the next like 6 months.
Probably it's 7:14 a.m. So he might be like just waking up and having some coffee. I don't know.
And getting his call about Saw 10. Right. It's like, hey, guess what?
Carrie,
you want to play the Dread Pirate Jigsaw? And he says, as you wish. And then they merge the two franchises in the way that we've always dreamed of, the Princess Saw. Okay. A little addendum to there's always going to be updates on WB stuff going forward. I think every week there's going to be little new things to address. And after we talked about the Flash movie last week, the very next day, because sometimes we record early, as we are this week, because I'm going away to see a concert down in Houston, is that the very next day, it was reported that WB, they listed out the 3 plans WB had for the Flash if certain things occurred, if things escalated.
This was Ezra a THR article, I believe.
Yeah, and one of them, the worst case scenario, the nuclear option, was actually shelving the film. And then now a week later, we get an official public announcement, public apology from Ezra Miller about their actions and addressing their mental health issues and stuff like that. So it looks like there's a damage control engine that's sort of kicking into gear here.
Well, one of the option, you said the third option, but the other,
that was the third. Yeah,
right. The options that included like releasing the movie as is in some form was the like having Ezra Miller. Can Ezra Miller promote this movie at all? And it already seems like you can't do a full regular press tour because it would be too loaded. There'd be too many questions about this. Right. But there was can Ezra Miller like do some sort of like apologies, a big interview, and then do limited press. And so the cynical side of this is like a week later with Ezra Miller seeking treatment and putting out a statement and apologizing, and people saying, oh, they're going for option 1. Clearly, Ezra Miller has issues that we hope get resolved. But it is crazy that when someone's like personal life and doing a lot of crazy damaging things is intertwined with a giant $200 million plus budget movie. But that's where we are. So, it's like, all we can do is hope that everything here works out. But yeah, it's that is where we are at right now with this.
And then we've got the layoffs that we knew were coming at HBO and HBO Max.
Sadly, probably will be more, sadly.
Yeah, right now it's about 70 people, like 14% of the workforce. We knew that was coming a few weeks back. And then this was also sort of coming because the CW was already the thinning of the herd had already begun at the CW with sort of the nixing of the Arrowverse and other series. And then came out a report that the CW is going to be completely overhauled.
Can I pause for?
Go for it.
I want you to mention 14% of the HBO and HBO Max team, because I was like, that doesn't sound. 70 people can't be the entire Warner Brothers Discovery.
No, I said HBO and HBO Max.
Oh, you did?
Okay. I didn't say Warner Brothers. Yeah. It was just Casey Bloy's soldiers. So in an attempt to make the CW profitable, they're basically going to retool it and reprogram it to match what we all learned was the average age of a CW viewer, which is 58. Now,
Did you
there's a lot
mention
of
just now?
questions.
Maybe
I have a lot of questions here.
I
Yeah.
might be missing everything you're saying this morning. Did you just say they are selling it, which we knew was in talks for a long time?
I don't think I mentioned the selling part,
Yeah,
but yeah, they are going to sell it and then retool it with a lot of different, cheaper, unscripted programming geared toward the average age of 58. And so here are my questions for you, Eric. We old people watch TV. Old people watch traditional TV. Old people channel surf. Like old people aren't cord cutters, so they're going to have the CW, especially since it's a free channel that you can get even if you don't have a cable package, which seems strange in 2022, but it still exists out there. That people who just don't have even basic cable, you could still watch the main networks, the CW being one of them. So yeah, if you're an old, you can, maybe it's even in a retirement home, you put on the CW because you want to know what Liv Moore's up to on iZombie, or like what if Balark is ever going to happen on the 100. I don't know, but so, or can they even account for younger viewers in a Nielsen household, where it's like, do they only count the owners of the Nielsen box? Like, what I'm saying is, like, are these parents and then their kids are watching the CW? I don't know. Like,
it's all weird, yeah.
It's all weird, but it's just like, also the CW is known for gearing young, like over the years, you know, like gossip, from everything from soapy stuff like Gossip Girl to a lot of mostly genre stuff like sci-fi and horror, like, you know, Reaper and some of the stuff we already mentioned, Supernatural, obviously. That we always saw.
Supernatural ended up being a multi-generational show by
Supernatural, like if you started watching that show and you were 40, then yeah, you're 58 now. So yeah.
Right. Yeah, so the new owner is a company called Nexstar. Warner Brothers and Paramount will each retain 12.5% each. But yeah, the 58 is the median age thing is baffling. It doesn't quite make sense to me. But I did, as many others have pointed out, the weird thing is, let's take it at face value. Let's assume that's correct, and that the CW's average viewer is shockingly older than we expect. And of course, is this only going by hard Nielsen type night of airings, when most of the CW viewers were watching not only on like CW digital, but a lot of them on Netflix, and think Riverdale is a Netflix show because that is how they've watched Riverdale all these years, which happens a lot. Taking at face value, they are 58. It is weird for them to say, oh, we want to change the programming to better fit that, because doesn't it mean the 58-year-olds were liking Riverdale?
Okay, so this is that I kind of tweeted something like, where it's like, hey, give Constantine another chance if they like, demons and stuff like that. I don't know. It's kind of like, were they already programming for them because that's what 58-year-olds like and no one knew, or were the 58-year-olds just like had it on because they're 58 years old and they just have the TV on, and they realize 58-year-olds would much rather watch something else. I don't know. The assumption here is that the 58-year-olds don't want to watch what they were watching. They want to watch something completely different than all the programming that the CW was offering, even though they were the main watchers of the CW. So yeah, I don't know.
Right. I mean, we also have to deal with the fact that as we rapidly hurl towards our 50s, Matt, the fact that it's like the definition, what people will like as they get older, is going to change rapidly.
For sure, because I'm not going to stop liking genre shit.
Right. And like my sister, who's 10 years older than me, like she's a huge, she is the Star Wars generation, right? Like she was like, it's like, she was there were people who were like, 10 or teenagers when Star Wars opened, and they have really been conditioned on this genre stuff. And that's going to happen more and more and more. That it's like, it's like if the Arrowverse, like the Arrowverse I ended up souring on, but it's like, 10 years, 15 years from now, I'm going to want to watch superhero shit. So that's going to just,
here's the thing. Like my mom is 83 and loves Dr. Lawyer Cop shows. Right. So like, that's the generation that likes that kind of show. And so obviously 58 is way younger than 83. We tend to lump our olds together, but I've always still thought, as I'm about to turn 47, that like the CW, in my head, the CW skews younger than me.
Yeah. And
it's not that I don't like vampire shows or object to any of the premises of the shows that they have. It's just that the characters are all 21 years old, and the soapy
or 16 played by a 25-year-old.
Right, exactly. Or they're teenagers or whatnot.
Yeah.
Or it's not the shows. I don't object to the show's premises or the concepts. It's the way that they're sort of like laid out in a very cut and paste style. There's a soapy drama element to it that you're either into or you kind of tire of. And when we'll talk a little bit about that when we do our breakout episode of Better Call Saul and how that show continued to break the mold of what television could be,
Which will already be up, I think, by the time you hear this. But yeah.
Probably. Before you hear this, probably. So for those in our Hudson Hawk tier. But it's always just been like the CW's for the young. That was always sort of the tagline for the CW. The CW's for the young. Get out, olds. Anyway, that bottom line, it's being sold off, and they're going to fill it with people who are saying procedurals, but I don't even think that's the way they're going. Because
I don't know. Who knows? And we'll see. I mean, also, of course, people think that this is. You can't say it's the beginning of the end because there were already things happening.
No, it's already been over. Yeah.
But the CW certainly, as we knew, it was already with the end of the Arrowverse and impending end of the Arrowverse and all this is like things are kind of. It's a big shift in everything right now. And this will be the next stage of that.
It's kind of like how we knew NXT was petering out before the official ushering in of NXT 2.0. There was just sort of the signs there. And both of them were definitely defined an era of vampire shows and wrestling. Okay.
Yes.
So let's get into some write-ins here. Just a few this week. We're trying to cut it short because we're doing 2 in a row back to back, doing a little early this week. And those messages we don't get to, we'll get to next week, especially the longer ones. And first, I just want to say, right after this is our good things to enjoy. And one of my good things to enjoy is one of the big fantasy shows that is launching within a month's time. So basically, within 1 month, Eric, we're getting Sandman, House of the Dragon, the Rings of Power, and then there's one more I'm forgetting.
There's a fourth one? Although
there is a fourth one.
Although when you mention, I will say, like, Sandman, while I understand
it's not the same.
It's
obviously
very different to me. Like, I don't know, it just feels like a
very
But
these are big, large ensemble shows that take a lot of and world building and establishing and different realms, and everything comes with its own rules. And which is to say, Brendan writes in on Patreon, "Hey, Matt and Eric, I just finished reading through Matt's review of the finale of Westworld season. I had stopped watching it after season 1, but I'm curious about getting back into it. In your opinions, when you look back at all the content available, is Westworld a show that's worth getting back into? Thanks so much, Brendan, I believe is the name. I enjoy Westworld. Especially this season. This season, I really thought it went batshit crazy, and I enjoyed the direction it went into, basically ended the world. And is it worth getting into, meaning you have 3 seasons to catch up again? So I just mentioned 3 big new shows. I guess I'll include She-Hulk as the 4th. I'm just saying big genre shows, and then we've got Andor. So let's say there's 5 big genre shows starting within a month's time.
So a month
Brendan,
and a half because Andor's the end of September.
Brendan, I'm going to say maybe not. If after season 1 you didn't want to even check out season 2, which sort of like
because most people season 2 is where it lost them.
Yeah, that's the thing is like season 2 is where it twisted brains a little bit too much into a balloon animal and there was a little try hard aspect to it that people didn't care for. But no, I would say no. It's kind of like if I ever said The Walking Dead just got good in season 15, should I watch all of this just to get into it? No, I think it's rewarding for those who stuck with Westworld, but yeah, no need to make that dive back.
Yeah, I mean, I watched the first 3 seasons. I have not seen any of season 4, but enough Matt and many other people saying that it's been a fun, good season makes me curious to check it out. But if I was out after season 1, I would guess I wouldn't want to come back at this point.
Right. Okay. And then Sam writes in on Patreon, and you too can write in on Patreon if you are a Patreon subscriber. We have 2 tiers there. One is an ad-free tier. One is an ad-free plus bonus episodes tier. You can check that out on patreon.com. Sam writes in with some suggestions for our first tier, Eric. Hello, Enjoy Boys. I just got Marty from Cabin in the Woods stoned the other night and brainstormed a few first-tier Patreon subscriber titles. I can't recall all the inside joke references because of the drugs, but but the ones I do are in parentheses. Do with them what you will. The Farting Chuckies, which is, and he puts in parentheses. These are like weird 80s song titles. Farting Chuckies in parentheses, Child's Play 2. Allen's Jurassic Park 3. Well, I guess that means the raptor that went Allen. I don't know.
Yeah.
Definitely not mid. Knots, which is Speed 2 Cruise Control. Shocked audiences everywhere. The Shockman trailer. Hey, it's the first tier and they're doing stuff. Interesting, in parentheses, Shelley Goldman.
His impact.
Eater of cookies, breaker of Eric Goldman's back. Comical stealer of wallets, Steve Milan. We're both children of divorce, RoboCop 2, New Dumb Friends, Suicide Squad, School Night Spider-Mans, Jeff Bridges yelling at Nope. And then that's where he ends it. I don't know. We'll consider all of those, Sam. Thank you for your suggestions. He signs off. Shockma, Sam. Yes, I'm making a Chili's to go run. Can I get you anything? Very specifically, Chili's to go. Southwest egg rolls, I guess.
I haven't eaten Chili's in.
Where is there even a Chili's around you? Is everything in Northridge?
Well, there's one in Encino, I believe. It's still on Ventura Boulevard. It's been there forever. Well, quite a while.
You should go there.
All right. I get
it. Okay. All right. Let's get into our good things to enjoy. Eric, what's your good thing to enjoy this week?
My first, I'm going to quickly do my
physical media corner.
Physical media corner, which is to say that Shout Factory / Scream Factory just put out 4K discs. I can don't want to say the other one of Child's Play 1, 2, and 3. Movies I've bought many times, especially the first one, and will buy again. And they look great, but the main reason I'm mentioning them, besides the fact they look great and they're movies we've talked about on this podcast, is they all have new special features, which is impressive because they already, especially the first one, had so many before, but they went and did new interviews. And I haven't watched special features on 2 and 3 yet, but it just was interesting to me, the first one especially, because they talked to Chris Sarandon, talked to the production manager, they talked to Mancini, Dan Mancini, and David Kirshner. Oh, and Alex Vincent. But there's always been clearly some issues with Tom Holland, not Spider-Man, the director of the original Child's Play. The fact that he never came back and everyone else did was very notable. Tom Holland and Don Mancini have kind of traded barbs before and insults. But this was the first time it got really into that. All these interviews mentioned him being really volatile on set, yelling and screaming. Alex Vincent saying he had to be taken off set sometimes. They didn't want to him be around like a Tom Holland tirade. Chris Sarandon, who worked with him on Fright Night and was brought in, saying how he kind of tried to talk him down and be like, "You gotta get it together, man." Even while everyone's like, he did a really good job. The movie's good. He had good ideas, but then David Kirshner, the producer of every movie in the series and the TV show, seems like a very nice guy and sent me a free t-shirt in 1990 when I told him I'd seen Child's Play 2 twice on opening day. He gets into it. I guess he just decided it's been long enough. And he talks about Tom Holland on set, constantly talking shit about people behind their back, including him. And then one day when he was talking to him, walking away from him, and Tom Holland saying, "Hey, David," and he turned and he threw his full coffee mug at him, which splattered him with coffee. Luckily,
what the fuck is going on?
Yeah,
is he like a proto David O. Russell or something? Like, what's happening?
So, because Kirshner saying he lost it in a way he's never lost it and felt bad about later, and Kirshner ran at him, and they had a physical fight on set, and had to be pulled apart. And that he felt bad, and the next day he went to set and he was going to apologize to Tom Holland, and Tom Holland said, "Hey, David," and he walked towards him thinking he's going to apologize to him, and Tom Holland pulled out a gun and fired it at him, which turned out to be a prop gun. But holy shit,
what is happening?
Yeah. So anyway, that's my recommendation of the Sounds
good. Sounds 4K. Good. Man, we didn't even do for news this week the fact that they're teasing us again about a new Friday the 13th movie.
Oh yeah. Well, I'll believe it when I see it.
Yeah. I'll believe it when I'm sitting in the seat. And
yes, I've been hurt too much. Anyway, so yeah, Child's Play 4Ks look really good, and they dish on it.
Do you think, obviously, I don't know how old Tom Holland was when he directed that movie. Do you think that's why his resume after Child's Play was thinner, pun intended, than before Child's Play?
Yes, because coming off of Fright Night and Child's Play, making two big hit, well-received, well-reviewed horror movies, he should have had a bigger career.
Yeah.
And I would guess stories about him. And because also Kirshner says he was fired off post-production eventually. Like they didn't finish the movie with him.
Yeah, God. Just handle life, Tom Holland. All right.
Yeah.
So what's your non-physical media record?
My non-physical media, my actual good thing to enjoy is a movie you can see in theaters currently, and it's called Emily the Criminal. And it stars Aubrey Plaza, and she also produced it. I believe it's the second movie she produced. She produced Ingrid Goes West. I don't think she's produced some other ones between that, but I could be wrong. But if you look at Aubrey Plaza's career since Parks and Rec ended, I mean, obviously she had Legion, which was a very strange show, but also a Marvel and FX show. So, a lot of like big factors involved there. But on the movie side, she's definitely done like a lot of quirky
Child's Play,
but except for Child's Play, yeah. But most of the stuff she's done has been like quirky indie stuff. Definitely, she doesn't do like traditional comedy. She's never done like a wacky comedy movie, even though she's a very funny person. And Emily the Criminal is, pretty much a straight up drama. It's not to say it's humorless. There are some funny little moments in it, but it is not a comedy. But she is so fucking good in it. It is about a young woman. I guess Aubrey Plaza is probably playing a little younger than she is. Also, this movie's been in development for like 5 years, so that's probably one reason. Because she's like a young woman who she has like a shitload of debt from school that she's never done anything with, because we learn very early in the movie that she actually has a conviction, like an assault conviction. So it's made her very hard to get a job. She works just as like a food catering company. Kind of barely meeting ends, trying to, get a job in her actual, she's trying to be an artist and try to get a job working for an actual company. It's not happening. And then the main thrust of the movie is that she is told by her coworker that she can make an easy $200. And it turns out to be this credit card scam run by Theo Rossi from Sons of Anarchy, and Luke Cage plays this guy who, this is some sort of low level-ish stuff where they have stolen credit card numbers, they've created fake credit cards, and they get people like her to go in with the fake stolen credit card number and buy like a huge flat screen TV that they will then sell, and make profit off of. And she does it, and it's a movie about escalation, because she does that, and then they're like, well, if you want to make $1,000, come back tomorrow. And what do you have to do?
And she says no, and the movie ends.
She says no, and the movie is over.
She's like, "What am I, some sort of criminal?"
And then it's like Emily the non-criminal, and it was like a 15-minute.
Emily the law-abiding citizen.
Yeah, and she does it, and that the escalation, and what is she being asked to do next? What risk does that put her at? And sort of how far is she willing to go? It is a very tense movie. There are a couple times where I was very like anxious, because it's like,
Are you allowed to get up in the theater and pace?
I can't pull a Jonah Krakow, our friend Jonah, who loves to get up in pace when he's feeling anxious.
No, I mean, I do at home. I can do that at home. I'm saying like in the theater. Can you?
I think if you did that, I would say you have to go behind everyone else. You have to go, if there's like the walking row behind everyone. Okay. That's what you'd have to do. Or maybe you can stand to the side if you're out of sight of everyone.
Hide under your seat or under your jacket. Like just
only if there's no one around you in your row, I'd say.
Okay.
Anyway, there was some parts where very anxious, very uncomfortable, because of like, oh no, this is bad, the situation she's gotten herself into. The movie is obviously, there's certainly a lot sort of thematically there about, debt and, society, as far as like, how these things work. We get, as the movie goes on, we kind of get into her backstory more, what that conviction came from. But yeah, I really dug this movie. I really dug the vibe of it. I believe it's a first-time feature director, John Patton Ford. I went to a screening of this movie the other night that he did a Q&A with Aubrey Plaza after, and it was very funny because he talked about when he like met with her at a coffee shop like 5 years ago to talk about doing this, and how he was like, I can't believe I'm sitting with Aubrey Plaza. But that she wanted to do the movie, and that's how it ended up getting made. I thought like,
how did this get made?
How did this get made? It really works. It really, is very sort of involving. And Aubrey Plaza, especially, just she's so good. She's doing this Jersey accent. It takes place in LA. They shot in LA, but she's playing a Jersey transplant. So she's doing this Jersey accent and just kind of the sort of world weary vibe she brings to it. And also she has to play a person who you would have to believe would be willing to take these risks and to do these things, and sometimes in the moment have to make very, very quick decisions, not all of which are ones that you can condone, certainly, well, from the beginning, but certainly things get even worse where she's making decisions that you might think, that's terrible, don't do that, both risking herself but other people. But I totally was all in on it, and it's actually one of my favorite movies probably this year. So Emily the Criminal, it is in release right now in theaters, and you should check it out.
All right, Emily the Criminal in theaters.
Mm-hmm.
Soon at home at some point, probably.
At some point.
Okay, my recommendation is, hey, Eric, remember when I said I was gonna, I don't know if I made a deal with you. I think we made a crisscross deal and neither of us went and followed through on it, which is like, I'm going to I was going to read Sandman before Sandman came out. And you, Eric, were going to play to completion Last of Us before Last of Us came out. You can still hold up your end.
Not only can I still do that, but also I did begin Last of Us. So I have gotten further.
I am curious where you're at in the story. But I did not read Sandman. But I watched Sandman, and it is interesting. Like, I'm not pulling out like an obscure cult nugget here to recommend to everyone. This is a largely promoted, big presence at Comic-Con show of the 4 or 5 I mentioned at the top of the episode that are big, streaming series House of the Dragon is not, but like big tentpole fantasy shows that coming out in this next month to 2 month period. Sandman is the first of them, and I've seen episodes, I guess just one of House of the Dragon, which is coming up, but I've seen like everything except Andor, and I've liked everything. I've liked everything I've seen from like Rings of Power, She-Hulk, etc. But Sandman, I really, really enjoyed. I thought it was really well done. I understand the source material. Like, I have enough over the decades osmosis of Sandman to kind of know what it was and some of the beats. And I know that this first season adapted to the first 2 main comic book arcs, from what I see online, somewhat faithfully. And you definitely get the feel of that. And it does feel very Neil Gaiman graphic novel-y. So it hasn't, in many ways that adaptations take a written medium or a comic book medium and turn it into a TV show because you have to. This, as far as like adapting a graphic novel, feels the most keeping in line with what the graphic novel was for me. It just worked. Neil Gaiman, obviously, famous for writing Sandman decades ago, and it's sort of been something that has, been, I don't know if it's been in technically development hell over the years, but many people
certainly many iterations of it.
Many people have tried to adapt Sandman, and it's finally hit the screen with Netflix, a company at that point in their development slate willing to throw as much money as need be at the screen to sort of bring this to life, whereas other productions fell through because of it. And it stars Tom Sturridge as Dream, aka Morpheus. It's got Boyd Holbrook. I'm not going to do the thing that Eric apparently vehemently hates, which is where I list everyone in the goddamn show, because this would take forever. It is one of large ensembles I mentioned. Wait till I do that with Rings of Power, Eric, where I just mentioned everyone and their character.
And if they're a newcomer, you're like their high school production of.
And So, I think it just really works well. It's a streaming series, but it's not one of those, this is a 10-hour movie, especially I would say episodes like 1 through 6. There's definitely an episodic quality. It embraces the notion of the episode. And a lot of people you've heard star on the show maybe appear in only one episode because the characters only appear as they A, appeared in the comics, and B, as the show needed them to appear. So it's not like we're so used to over the past 10 years streaming shows blending everything together, where every episode you get a bit of everyone's story. And it's very and then so yeah, you can't really pull one episode out from the other because everyone's moving forward. This one really much isolates things in a very cool way. I didn't think I would be as into this show as I would be, as I wound up being, I should say, because I even saw a couple clips, advanced clips at Comic-Con that were for Hall H only.
I was sitting next to you,
and I was kind of like, you know, and I was like, oh, and one of the scenes I was like, Dream seems like the most insufferable, boring character, and I remember thinking that I'm like, okay, I'll give it a shot, but this guy's a lot, and he actually continues to be a lot, but the show just does a really great way. It's almost like kind of like fantasy noir in the sense that like you've got your main character and then they visit upon a bunch of other colorful characters, and as they meet up with each of them on their journey to find things or complete their quest, solve the crime, solve the mission, you get a little taste of that world. It's something that Minority Report tried to sort of emulate with the old school 1930s 40s noir movies, and I really liked it. I really liked the cast. I liked the little swap that they do with the Constantine character, or as they say in the show, Constantine, and as they said on the Hall H panel, Constantine, and it really threw me off quite a bit.
Oh yeah.
I thought I wouldn't like Patton Oswalt as the voice of Matthew the Raven, because he's Patton Oswalt, and it can be distracting, especially in this realm of these really like high and mighty characters. And you know, Patton Oswalt's not doing a voice; he's doing Patton Oswalt. But he still worked. I think he even dialed down the Patton Oswalt a little bit. So I recommend Sandman. I had a great time. I thought it was a ghoulish and creepy and kind of scary in ways that I assume the graphic novels, the comic book series was, and I really enjoyed it, and I hope it gets a second season. Sandman, 10 episodes on the Netflix.
Yes, and of course, yes. Ironically, I haven't seen any of it, even though I have read and loved the comics. I've read them multiple times. Just haven't had time yet. I will watch it soon. I'm very happy that it's been so well received. My only trepidation really going in was visually, because you know, the comics have such interesting, you know, visual styles that the show really couldn't match. But it seems like people really feel like it captured a lot of the vibe and feel of it. And I think I've mentioned this before, but so sorry if I have, but yeah, Sandman in development for so long that I remember separately, years apart, interviewing Eric Kripke and Joseph Gordon-Levitt and asking them like, what's going on with the Sandman? Because they were,
I remember Joseph Gordon-Levitt was attached to that for a while.
Yes. And so is Kripke. So yeah, it's a crazy route it took, but it's nice that it's finally happened, and seems to be generally very well received. So,
and I don't think I didn't think I had seen Tom Sturridge in anything. Not to say he hadn't been in anything.
Yeah.
He's been in a ton. Until I saw he was in Velvet Buzzsaw, which I did see, but I just don't remember who he was or that movie at all, really. So, but yeah, Sandman on Netflix. That's your recommendation for this week. Next week, our main event, Eric. What have you chosen as far as Halloween? I think we settled on.
No, we came to a consensus. We had a big text conversation about this, guys. Which version of Halloween: The Curse of Michael Myers would we watch? We ultimately decided on the theatrical version, simply because it's more easy to get. Even though the producer's cut is legally available, it's just not as readily available.
Yeah, we wanted you all and me,
right? Yes,
the listener and co-host, to be able to easily find this, so you could do a pre-watch of it, and so you don't have to sort of hunt around on the dark web, aka the third page of Google search, to find the producer's cut of this film. So yeah, Halloween: The Curse of Michael Myers, theatrical cut, the one you would have seen had you said one ticket, please.
As I did,
came out, in
1995. And so yeah, you can rent or buy it pretty much anywhere. You should probably rent it. Do not. The one place I know the producer's cut is readily available digitally is Vudu. So do not rent the producer's cut if you want to play along with us. Just rent what should be not marked producer's cut, the regular version of Halloween: Curse of Michael Myers, which you'd find on Apple or Amazon, etc.
All right, let's dive into Halloween 5, The Revenge of Michael Myers, if you're looking at the poster. So Halloween 5, man, okay. We mentioned, obviously, last week, one of the standout standouts of Halloween 4 is Danielle Harris, and she continues to do the Lord's work in this movie.
Yeah.
Especially since her character is made to not speak, and so she just has to scream and cry for about 45 minutes of this movie.
Yeah.
But actually, the whole movie. I mean, she gets
Well,
work,
yeah, maybe 2/3 probably.
and I'm impressed to the point of being concerned about how well she screams and cries as such a young child actor. I also didn't know that she was in Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. It's interesting.
She's one of the
Quentin Tarantino cast at Spawn Ranch. The hangers on the Manson family women are all really notable actresses in their own right. Like you'll look at them and be like, oh wow, like these are all like even like people who don't even have lines or people who have one line. They're all, so it's fun actually to sort of play who's who in that crowd. She was even less recognizable than usual because she was very pregnant, and she was in the one scene where she is told to go get Tex to go come and do a once over on this new guy, Cliff.
On Cliff,
So she goes and talks to them.
Goes to get Elvis.
Goes to get not tiny Elvis, but real Elvis. Boz Elvis. Yeah. Boz Elvis. And and I remember my old story. I think we should bring this up because it's Danielle Harris, and we won't talk about her, I believe, for a while, which is that she was on a daytime talk show. I believe it was Donahue. Maybe it wasn't. Sally Jesse?
No, it was Geraldo.
Geraldo.
Yeah.
Where, so much of that era, what had to do, late 80s, early 90s, were like shock rock bands. I already mentioned Gwar appearing on a bunch of them when I recommended This Is Gwar. Another one was like our horror movies warping our youths. And so she came on as the young star of these Halloween movies, along with other people. I can't remember who else was there. And I remember she was very
Terry O'Quinn was there because of the
stepfather. Very pre-Lost Terry O'Quinn, to sort of defend horror movies. And I remember mentioning it to Eric because if it was on TV and you missed it, you missed it. And I believe you bought the transcript for it.
I bought the transcript, and I still have the transcript. This is like, think about this. Is okay. Here's
because you could at the end of these episodes, they say if you want a transcript, write into this address.
Yes. So the fact that you could do this at all is weird. The fact that I did do it is funny. But yeah, there was not that I would ever care about freaking Geraldo, which was, people still might know who Geraldo Rivera is, but this was a daytime talk show a la Oprah and Donahue and all these talk shows. There was so many at the time. But they did this episode about horror movies and slasher movies, and they had a bunch of people on it I liked. They also had, I think, the editor of Fangoria. And because I missed it, and there was no way for me to see it because I missed it.
Exactly.
But this was a way I could still and use my imagination of what it looked like when they talked and order a transcript from the company of that episode.
I should mention, I know, I swear we're going to talk about the movie, but I should also mention this was my first experience with an absolute troll shit poster, which is like it sort of predicted the internet in the sense that someone stood up in that crowd, I have something to say, and told an outright lie just so that they could have something to say on TV, which is like, I was babysitting this kid and he came into the room and he said, kill me, I'm Jason. Kill me, I'm Jason. I'm like, that did not happen.
No.
It emphatically did not happen. And you are full of shit.
Yep.
And she was just trying to stoke the flames of this, hysteria around horror movies and get on TV and talk to Geraldo or whatever. So that's the kind of culture we were dealing with back then. And it has only gotten worse. But the
also thing that I remember is that they had her, again, I didn't see this myself. I know there are
still to this day we can't even.
I think there's a couple clips of it, but they had. It's all so sensationalistic because they had Danielle Harris wear her costume from the movie.
Yes, wasn't she? She was in the clown costume, right?
I think she was in the clown costume.
I'm remembering it now. Oh my god, that's so weird. Okay, why can't she wear normal clothing? Jesus Christ, what's happening? Okay, Halloween 5. Got a new director again, Dominique Fenin Gerard. I don't know if I'm saying that right. A souped up Halloween, like souped up music at the beginning with knife slashes going through.
I really like these opening credits. I really like that you're like, what are we seeing? Are we seeing Michael digging his way out from where he fell? And how the theme kind of builds. And that then it turns out it is a pumpkin being violently carved. By the way, I found a clip on YouTube, and she's wearing actually the outfit from Halloween 5, which had just opened when she came on it. So she's not.
So is she wearing the fairy princess outfit?
Yeah, she's wearing the fairy princess.
That's even weirder. Almost.
It's even weird. It's all weird.
Stranger. Okay, so we should mention that this movie starts all the way Halloween 2 kind of starts with a recap of the final minutes of the previous movie.
Yeah.
And though this movie does not continue to take place on the same night, it is interesting that, we do get like, this is how the last movie ended.
Although with Michael, we get some new material. Yeah.
We get new material with Michael, like basically like his journey. But here's what he was doing at the time. Also an added bonus of, we didn't know they also tried to dynamite that whole, they tried to blow him up too. So like in the last movie, by the time we got back home and Jamie had stabbed her stepmom and stuff, actually she's not her stepmom.
She's her foster mom. And
they keep saying stepsister and stepmom. Yeah,
everyone keeps saying stepmother. Her credit, even funnier because she doesn't get a name. In the closing credits, the character is stepmother, she is not her stepmother. She's not
Rachel's
married to her
not
father.
Her stepsister. Yeah,
no, so. foster people. Come on.
Okay, so we didn't know that at the time they had actually stuck a couple sticks of dynamite down that ditch and tried to blow him to smithereens too. So had we known that, we would have been like, all right, he's dead or or very hurt. But I should say, what happened to him at the end of that movie fucked him up enough that like he couldn't murder after. He had to take a year-long nap. He was like, "Oh, I'm so sleepy. I'm tired."
Right. And first he went floaty. He went
wee. Yeah, so he crawled his way out, missing the explosion, and then he had his own like water park ride. It was like making me wonder: was Michael Myers ever in water? I assume he took a bath, but like. Did he take like showers at Swiss Grove? He must have, right? I'd like to imagine he had fun in that moment. He was just like, "Hey, this is a new sensation, altogether new to me." And he's just sort of
the rage is subsiding.
Yeah, that maybe he just needs water therapy. And then he winds up in like the first 2 minutes of the Disneyland Pirates of the Caribbean ride. I don't know who this guy is. Some like old man cooking chowder on a fire, a lot of candles going on. He's in a cave. And Michael tries to kill him, but can't. He actually passes out. So you're like, oh shit, the beast is felled. This guy would keep this Michael for a year and then get killed later. So never do a kind deed is what the message is.
Now this is a notable reshoot. That last year, the Halloween 5 4K release from Scream Factory finally had this footage, which was they completely changed the character who finds him and I guess tends to him for a year. Now it's a kindly hermit who's like, oh, sorry, man, the mysterious masked man who grabbed me by my throat and tried to kill me.
Now it's just like a good Samaritan who gets shit on for trying to do something to make a giving gesture to the world. I feel like context clues, though, obviously makes me believe that he is some sort of cultist with the tattoo on Michael's wrist and the candles and all that kind of thing.
But that is remnants of the original version where it was a young guy called Dr. Death in the credits who was clearly some kind of like dark practitioner of the arts.
Dr. Death, Steve Williams?
Yes.
The reason Steve Austin had to change his name?
Exactly. Okay. Yeah, and that shack was filled with occult stuff and runes and all sorts of stuff. And that this guy was like, knew Michael was a sort of, a creature of evil and wanted to kind of help that along, and then still gets killed because Michael is Michael. But they changed, they reshot it. And so now it's just a kindly hermit, and that the tattoo is just, again, we'll talk more about the tattoo, but the tattoo, we've never seen it before, but there's no implication that this old man has anything to do with the tattoo.
Well, yeah, there is, because, okay, so what's not answered for us is did Michael ever get up in that year's time?
Right.
Was he laying there for an entire year in his mask? Was this guy feeding him like
Well, no, his mask was
beans through
off.
his
His mask
nose?
was, no, he
Oh yeah,
grabbed
his
the
mask was hung up.
Yeah.
But like, what's this guy doing?
Right.
Is Michael going to the bathroom? Is he eating right? Is he staying hydrated? I'm very concerned about.
Is he going and is he floating out in the water again because he liked it?
Yeah, he's like every day he's like, I need my water time. And he goes, wee. I feel like yeah, more was needed to be explained. Obviously, there was a whole cult route that they didn't go, that they sort of like downplayed as this Curse of Thorn subplot was minimized. But like, yeah, what was their relationship like? Was this literally a year later he gets up for the first time, or was there a day-to-day routine that they were going through and they were best friends? Yeah.
Was there a betrayal?
And was he only evil again because it was Halloween? Maybe they were buds.
Mm-hmm.
And that's why the guy didn't think
Let
he was
me
going to
tell
kill
you
him.
about my best
friend. Yeah. Man, that's the movie. That's the movie we should be getting instead of Halloween Ends.
The Missing Year. So yeah, Jamie in the children's clinic, though,
which is just a house. Okay, that's fine. But I really like in this movie the elements I like in this movie involve Dr. Loomis being a completely abusive, harsh dick to Jamie, she is now like his patient. So whereas Michael was before, Jamie now is Dr. Loomis's patient in this child's clinic, and
which we joked last week about the fact that Loomis was still Michael's doctor, despite the fact that Michael's had shot him repeatedly and blew him up. But Loomis also pointed a gun at Jamie and was gonna shoot and kill her. So it seems like Loomis is always being given charge of people he probably shouldn't, you know.
No, yeah, for sure. And actually there's a line I think in this movie where it's like you got to try to kill her again or something like that. I feel like there was something in there.
Maybe I don't think there was, but
I feel like I'm making that up. But I also feel like I'm not.
But also, of course, we very quickly get the retcon of the foster mother, despite the movie insisting his stepmother didn't die. Like, you know, that they
also still loves her. Like, you know, it wasn't like Rachel. I mean, we see Rachel as the only one visiting her from the family, but they go,
do you want to call your mom? You know, your mom.
Yeah. Maybe it's just like mom and dad said their love, but maybe they really didn't. like Rachel's the only one who kind of likes her.
That, yeah.
But yeah, like the best parts of this movie were like Loomis using her as bait and like really being kind of like dark and abusive with Jamie, who we learn that this movie fully goes into the supernatural as far as a telepathic psychic connection between Michael and Jamie, and it is evident right out of the gate, which is like she is having, as soon as he's waking up and killing that kindly good Samaritan who did Michael such a service of housing him for a year, she is with him. So she can see him and she can also experience things as him. Like she mimics his movement, putting on the mask.
She's
great
doing that, pulling on the mask.
Well, she's so good in this movie. You know, she is better than this movie deserves.
Absolutely.
In this scene where she has to spasm and convulse and scream and cry for about 99.9% of this film.
Yeah.
The best parts of this movie come in the third act with her, where we really do get, because Rachel's not there, it is sort of a Michael versus Jamie, also with Loomis getting to be more integral to Jamie's story in this this movie. I think I like that element of it, where he got to interact with Jamie more, and you find out that maybe once he was a good doctor, but no longer. He is pretty bad, and he is so obsessed with catching Michael that nothing else matters.
The stuff in the house, I agree, is the best at the end. But also, I do want to mention here, unlike some others where I might mention like crazy different versions at the end, because we should talk up front here about the fact that Halloween 4 has this great ending, holy shit ending. But I do understand if you're going to make a Halloween 5, it raises a tricky question, because if Jamie is like the new Michael, the new evil, and people love Daniel Harris, but are you really going to have this little girl be like the killer? You could, and people were really into that ending, but they walk it back so quickly. They, not only did the mom survive, but Jamie is not evil. It's never really a possibility in this movie, right?
Well,
She's just traumatized.
No, but they even infer in this movie that was Michael. They infer that like she was infected because of this telepathic connection. Last in the last movie, we could just say like she went insane, and like there is sort of an ethereal family curse. There is a shape out there that takes people on Halloween night, little kids of the same age or something like that. But here they really do directly tie it to the familial connection between her and Michael Myers. By the way, this movie teased big time in the trailers and the commercials the unmasking of Michael Myers.
Yes.
They show him taking it off, and what a cop-out it was that he does it in the movie, and you never see his face because it's in the shadows. And I remember being so wholeheartedly disappointed by that, and big bamboozle by Hollywood at that time.
Although it is very clear that he somehow is no longer burnt. So
no, he is not. As you
his
can
hands
watch,
are. His hands
as soon
are.
as you can start watching this movie at home and seeing it with not quite as shadowy and in the light, you could see that it's just a regular face. So
but I want to mention with the other so we a person we just haven't mentioned at all, which is funny because his name is so prominent at the start of each of these movies, which is Mustafa Akkad. He gets this long, before it even says presents. I remember Halloween 4. It's just like it sounds like he's going to star in it. Mustafa Akkad, and then slowly presents. And one of the producers of the original Halloween, and I said I misspoke last week when I said no one's around anymore except Alan Howarth from the old days. That's not true. Mustafa Akkad's the guy from the beginning because he becomes Michael's quote unquote sort of godfather. There were many producers on the original Halloween, but ultimately he's the one who ends up controlling the character for various reasons. John Carpenter and Deborah Hill are just done with it. There's some other people that they kind of buy them out after some contractual back and forth. And Mustafa Akkad, he remains in control. He stays on, and this becomes his career. He produces the Halloween series, but it also means he gets a lot of say. And in these books I've been reading, he was very against continuing with Jamie as the killer. That being said, the first script for this movie did involve it never was going to be like, now Jamie's our killer. Michael was always going to come back. But there was a script where she had killed her foster mother, but then it was like, how far gone is she? Can we still save this girl? And except Loomis. Loomis is like, we got to kill her. But throughout the script, it builds with, and it does end with she's a killer. Like it ends with her like taking off with Michael and killing again after Loomis has tried to kill her like numerous times. So just to say that was the one route they did go, but then there was multiple scripts written quickly after, and they all took that away because Mustafa Akkad just did not want to go that route.
Was this the first movie that also said Donald Pleasance in?
Might have been. We talked we haven't talked because we haven't done those movies. How Nightmare on Elm Street, but the fourth one gets Robert Englund in, like where he gets, his credit moves. So it might have been.
It's so for movies that now involve Michael Myers constantly returning. This is the second one in a row that is Michael Myers coming back to Haddonfield to kill again on Halloween. It's funny how much there is intentional and or unintentional mirroring of the first movie in the regard that like we have a sheriff whose daughter was killed again. Now it's like a new sheriff who's still sheriff and his daughter was killed. But instead of having a teenager character, we still have a little girl who needs to be surrounded by teenagers. So this movie does a very strange job because they decide not to just keep it with Rachel.
Very odd decisions made here.
Yeah, they decide to not keep it Rachel again. They kill Rachel off quickly after bizarrely sexualizing her in the way they didn't do in the first movie.
So weird to take that character and be like, look, and it's a body double, but still be like, now look, she's in the shower. Now she's in a towel.
Like, which is like, that was not her character in the first movie. And so she is very much the TNA that gets killed off at the beginning of this movie.
Yeah.
And then she's basically Jamie is saddled with until the third act, or they are just acting as surrogates while Jamie is in her children's health home or whatever. her friend, like Rachel's friend Tina, and then her boyfriend.
Tina definitely is the one that sort of takes Rachel's spot.
And then this other couple, we're following two other couples.
Yeah.
Who we just met. They don't even try to use the teen characters from the first one. We don't get Wade. We don't get Lindsay. We don't get anyone back from that a year ago. We just get these new people, Sammy and Spitz, and then I guess it's meant for the ultimate prank that Michael pulls halfway through this movie.
The guy's name is
Tina's
Mike.
boyfriend is named Mike because she's like, Michael, get in the car, or let me in the car, and she's saying that, and we're all like, that is Michael.
It's not the Michael you think it is. It's a very strange decision, and look, Tina, a very interesting character, which is to say, kind of insufferable. Just as far as like the spaz, I know there's a character named Spitz, but Tina's a spaz. But it's also just weird because jumping ahead, Tina does ultimately die saving Jamie in a scene that feels like it should have been Rachel's, right?
Right.
Like it's just weird because Rachel isn't in this movie. Now, Rachel is discovered, her body's discovered by Jamie right near the end. So Jamie finally finds out because Rachel was going to go away for the weekend. So no one knows she's dead. But it's very strange. Like, why do that? Why? I guess you think it's like, oh, we're killing off a character from the last one at the beginning, but it doesn't really serve any real purpose. And then you just sub in this other girl. And then because that girl gets killed saving Jamie, it just feels like that should have been Rachel's sacrifice.
I feel like that they just decided in 1988 or 89 when they filmed this movie to do the traditional kill off the heroine of the first of the last movie. And it just feels stranger here because the lead of this movie is technically a 9-year-old, 10-year-old girl. Yeah. And so you constantly just need different older people to shepherd her through certain aspects of the film, and you're just replacing that when you don't need to. That's a strange part. And in fact, there's a moment where a lot of people have been killed in this movie and no one knows anyone's dead until the bodies fall down on Tina in the barn. Right. It's kind of like, is anyone ever going to discover someone dead in this film? Also bold of Michael Myers at this point in his Michael Myers-ing career to still be out in the daytime looking at schoolyards on Halloween. Right. With nothing but a few leaves to hide him.
Yeah, but that's another thing about this movie that really is so clunky, which is that they try to bring back the Michael lurking in the background thing from the original, but very unartfully. So there's these moments that play comical because he's moving too much, Matt. Like, he's not just standing still staring up. He's in the bushes in the back as the girls are talking, as like Sammy and Tina are talking, but he's like moving around. Like, you can't stay still. And it's like drawing attention for us as the viewer. It felt like the director didn't have faith that we would see him or have fun spotting him or not spotting him. But it makes it just kind of seem silly. Like, he's always like, here I am, guys. I'm in the background.
Remember, there's a moment where he's in the closet and Rachel walks by. And
and that's even awkward because we see him. She goes into the closet. Yeah. She walks out, but we see him duck out from the sides. And it's one of those awkward things. It's like how Kane Hodder had a rule that he would never show himself sitting up as Jason because it's like too human, an awkward thing. Like, it's like, and it's like, I don't want to see Michael like have to like crouch down, like, I was hiding in the closet. Like,
all the things that we assume he's doing when the camera's not on him, where it's like, how did he get out of there so quick? Well, he actually tippy-toed out. And he was like,
you can see me.
At the Halloween clinic, the children's clinic.
They might as well call it the Halloween clinic.
It is probably the Halloween clinic. They're having a Goblin's costume pageant. And this is what Jamie is doing until the third act. And while she's not like literally trying to warn people that, that he's going to kill Max. Actually, before I talk about her costuming and Billy, my OTP, Jamie and Billy, ride or die, which is that, so the dog is barking at Michael and she's worried about Max, and so she's like writing things on her board, and like they call Rachel, and Rachel checks, and no one's there, and Max is fine, and it's down the street. The deputies show up, and with the dumbest, stupidest,
what the fuck moment,
idiot music. There's a a car horn. There's a slide whistle.
Insanity. And this is the moment, because this is Halloween 5. It's like I was thinking, Matt, how it's like there was a little bit of Phantom Menace syndrome with Halloween 5 for me, where I desperately wanted to love it. And so I was willing to kind of overlook a lot of its flaws, but this tested me at the time.
This pushed Eric Goldman to his limit. I feel like this music would have worked better, and I mean that in the least best way possible, which is to say, if these two were actually idiots. They're not idiots.
No.
These two are actually, but what they are is a comedy routine. Like they're doing bits. Like they've got like rapport, banter. They've got banter. Yeah. They've got banter, but they're not like morons the way they're
not incompetent. Yeah.
Yeah. Also, we should mention that just a year previous to this, the entire police force was murdered, and nobody talks about it. By the way, they're all going to be murdered again.
Again, I didn't want to mention this last week when we talked about how Meeker doesn't seem that torn up. Well, guess what, Meeker? It's going to happen again.
Yeah, all the replacement cops he brought in, including these two, I assume, are going to get killed earlier.
They get killed.
They do get killed, but again, he's going to lose everyone once more.
Possibly himself, but we don't see a body to be sure. But
But I want to talk about the Max fake out, because this is a thing where we've already talked about how many dogs Michael is killing, possibly making him the most dastardly killer out there, as far as like he just kills dogs left and right. And does he get that from the Man in Black, who actually kicks a dog as he gets off the bus in this movie? I don't know. Is that the actual curse of Thorn? Is this hatred for dogs? We get a dog fake out, which is like, oh, the dog's fine. Does he kill Max by the end of the movie? He sure does.
He does. Yes. The fourth dog killed.
Wow. So we are tricked into thinking the dog is safe, and then we get the dog bed pulled out from under us by the end. Okay.
And I skipped. I want to say just quickly about Tina. And I definitely want to say, watching this movie again, because I haven't, this is one I don't revisit a lot. As much as I revisit Halloween 4, I don't revisit Halloween 5 a lot. It broke my heart, Matt. But I definitely don't fault Wendy Capel and the actress playing Tina, because it definitely feels like one of those things where this is an actress doing what she's been asked to do, but what she's been asked to do is be super annoying. Because when we meet Tina, and she comes into that room when Rachel's talking to Jamie at the clinic, and Tina shows up, and she's just like bum 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 for like what seems like 10 minutes of her going bum,
I think bum. I was able to forgive Tina more because Jamie liked her so much. Jamie was enjoying herself.
As long as
she was entertaining.
I guess Jamie's like, I can't talk.
Miserable life of living with sleep helmets and having night terrors
and having this angry old doctor shake her and scream in her face.
Yeah, and like literally like throw things across the room when he's angry at her for not using her telepathic abilities correctly. I don't know.
There's also a shot that made me laugh a lot where Jamie's in her class, and then we pan over to the door, and there's a window, and Loomis is looking through it with a really pissed off look on his face. And it's just like, it's like creepy staring Loomis watching her angry.
I bet you were back with your foster family who you questioned every night if they loved you. I bet you wish you were with them now instead of this asshole. So I'm mostly pro Tina, except for the fact that she feels superfluous to this movie.
Also, though, I just feel like Rachel just gets done dirty because not only killing her off early and kind of this weird thing of like she sexualizing her when that's not what the character is, but also she has to act like, I don't know, like oddly dismissive of Loomis. She went through this a year ago. Like she fought Michael. She was there when
she was the one who rammed him with her car and got the die you son of a bitch line. And
even if she thinks Michael is dead, it just seems weird that she's so like, okay, crazy Dr. Loomis who wants my is worried about this. I don't know, it just doesn't track me.
All right. Jamie's doing a costume pageant. She's like a princess. She's wearing her Geraldo gear, apparently.
Yeah.
Billy's a pirate. He gives her a bracelet for good luck. I think it's very sweet. I don't spoil anything for me, Eric. Is Billy in parts? Is
you want me to answer that question? 6? Oh no, I will not answer that question.
Don't answer it for me. Okay. I'm going to find out on my own. But the other aspect of this movie in the middle of the movie is the farm party. Farm party,
yeah,
party at the farm with this couple. So we've got Tina and Mike, and who's a dick. and we've got Sammy and Spitz, who's a dick, and Spitz, who has like a Green Goblin laugh. Like the first time you meet Spitz,
And he keeps
seems
doing
like
it. Shut up.
like a kind of a normal guy. He's just like, hey, want to get beer, like just a Haddonfield teen, right?
But then he turns into like,
he's just this Arkham patient. I don't know what's happening with him at the end, where he can't stop cackling and he can't stop pranking. I feel like he's cursed. He's kind of like, please, I can't stop doing this stuff.
I will say, young Eric Goldman, though, Tamara Glynn has Sammy in the devil costume. That was an enjoyable aspect of this movie for me.
Oh yeah, she is she's quite a looker. We even get weird. We get this moment between Sammy and Tina where it's like, are they trying to like make us care about them, and like, are they like, is this character development? I don't know, but they're talking about basically boning in the barn, and Sammy seems sweet. She's gonna die.
Mm-hmm.
She is and
she seems Spitz way too normal for this group of friends.
I know. But... Well, also Spitz keeps pranking her too. It's all terrible. He can't stop being an arch villain.
Right.
Also, I get the pranks are a thing, but like these teenagers in the last movie and this movie who think it's funny after what happened to Ben Tramer 10 years ago to dress up like Michael Myers and think they're not going to get killed by the police somehow.
But that's but especially you can say, oh, they were little kids 10 years ago, but now it's their classmates who got killed the year before.
Yeah.
So like they knew Brady and Kelly, like they, so they should not be like, haha, it's very funny.
Yeah. No one should be selling this mask in town, by the way. Like, right. What is happening? Okay.
Which looks very different this time again. Too big. The neck flaps, Matt. They're like huge.
I chalk that up to his crawling through the mine shaft, his ride down the river, and then whatever the boxcar hobo did in that cave with the mask. I think that it got altered somehow.
The nose and the neck flaps are huge in this one.
Nose and neck flaps. Michael is out there just spying on people. He seems to be fixated on Tina, maybe because of Tina came by the house to check on Rachel. So it's sort of another Laurie situation where he just follows somebody who goes by the house. And he decides to play, up until this point, the ultimate Michael Myers prank. Michael Myers is nothing if not a impractical jokester, and he has decided to kill Mike. And again, it's a long time before Michael uses the knife in this movie. Like the knife is downplayed in 4 and 5, and I think it all started with 2 when they're like, he needs to kill people and more, not just with knives and strangling. He needs to use different implements because that's what slasher movies
do. That's what Jason was always switching up how he was
right. So he's using this. What I don't know what you use that claw for except murder. I don't know I'm not familiar with tools, but that just or gardening equipment, but that just seems like a murder claw. And he first the indignity Mike suffers with scratching his ride, and then he gets killed. But then Michael switches masks.
Yes.
He wears this different kind of a Frankenstein Wolfman hybrid mask that Tina gets Mike. And then his big prank is he picks up Tina in the car and then just drives way too fast and stays silent. And this is hilarious for Michael. This is like,
very funny for Michael. And I wonder what Conal Crocker and the King of Pranks would think. It is funny that, so Michael, look, established from the original movie, Michael Myers can drive.
Yeah.
And that sets him apart from Jason and a lot of the, even Chucky cannot drive a car because of his size.
Yeah.
But this movie has so much Michael driving. Michael does a lot. Like he's
doing Fast and Furious.
Yeah, I wanted to take on Dominic Toretto at a certain point because he is behind the wheel for a lot of this movie.
Then this is the best time he's had since he rode down the river. He's just having a delightful time terrorizing Tina. Actually not terrorizing her, just making her mad, just making her upset.
It's a psychological game he's playing.
Yeah, it's a psychological game, cat and mouse style psychological labyrinthine maze that he's putting out for these teenagers. And before killing them in the barn, the slide whistle deputies are at the party, just sort of watching things over. And basically, Spitz is around dressed like Michael Myers. There's actually a full sort of sex scene, a safe sex scene, we should say, late 80s. A lot of safe sex practice.
Much more than you'd see in a movie like this normally.
Yep.
I think this
previous
is where you feel,
previous to this, not as much.
Yeah,
we just
I think
get
this is where
visual.
you feel that you have a European director here, Swiss French director, because yeah, it's like much more sort of detailed with the condom and like, oh, he's entering her, but also when he's kissing her like upper thigh and it's very close to like showing
it was
him going
very
down
much
on her.
like
It's
an
like
Emmanuel in space situation.
Right. Just
like,
I mean, because yes, sex scenes are very common in these movies, in slasher movies, but this was like more detailed, and I think that's the director.
But also the direct pitchfork murder of him while he's actually inside her, like
right,
the coitus kill. The coitus kill.
Jason killed, a couple through them both, but it only goes through him. So then, yeah, she has to like live a few more minutes.
She fights back for a little bit, but he kills her. Then he decides to actually switch up the instrument. He puts the pitchfork down. He leaves it inside Spitz.
And
she takes
a cool
it.
Visual with the crazy.
He kills her with a scythe. Yeah. And then Tina, after discovering barn kittens, Tina discovers their bodies.
Has a weird line where she goes, "What are you doing? You hate cats." It's like, I don't know what you're doing, Tina.
I don't know. I feel like that's what a lot of people did when they saw the movie Cats, the musical. They're like, what am I doing? I hate cats.
Also, just backtracking for a second, that Tina participated in the joke where Spitz wears the Michael Myers costume, like running and screaming. And it's on the two deputies. You get the dumb music. But I'm like, which actually makes it seem meaner because they gave her a ride there. Like they haven't been assholes to her. So like, why is she like, ha ha ha, I'll make them think Michael's here, which also endangers her friend. Cause what if they just shot him? Like
I'm telling you, Spitz is a bad element. Spitz is a bad influence on most people in this movie. And I'm glad he's dead. The deputies get killed. At this point, Jamie passed out at the costume pageant. She's seriously worried for Tina. She even begged Tina not to go. And Danielle Harris, once again, carrying this on her tiny shoulders this whole movie. Like, you believe that she thinks she knows Tina's going to die. This is her friend. She doesn't want her to die. Tina goes anyway because, you know what? Sometimes you're going to meet an asshole and you're going to want to have sex with him. So there you
also,
go.
Tina has like, there is an interesting moment here where when Jamie is like screaming for Tina not to go, and then Tina, it's like, Tina cannot stop herself from going to party, even though she loves this little girl, and she's like tearing up leaving. Like,
she knows she's gonna die. Like, she's like, sorry, I gotta head.
Her line is, she goes, because someone, maybe Loomis, someone's like, be sensible, because she goes, I'm never sensible if I can help it, and then she goes,
she's just very self-destructive, and there's a lot of trauma there that we'll never get to know because Tina dies. Before we get into the third act of this movie, should mention Man in Black, mentioned briefly, already in town. Man in Black riding the Greyhound like everyone else, right? Just on a bus heading to Haddonfield. Doesn't pull up in his own hearse or like Dragula or something cool. Doesn't like have his own ride. He's just like, even the Preacher last movie had a ride. This guy is just taking the regular pleb bus like everyone else. Kicks a dog right as he gets out. Very stupid.
A nice little bit of continuity, I will say. And like, simply, like, these movies were shot back-to-back years in Salt Lake City. The bus stops in front of Vincent Drug, which is where Brady and Kelly worked in the last one. So, they filmed on the same street. But it is at least a nice little thing, because it's nice to see the drugstore back-to-back movies, because that's right before we see the Myers house, which is so comically not the Myers house.
Yeah.
Like, it's this like mansion. It's this gothic like tower mansion that looks nothing like the suburban house that is the Michael Myers house.
This is in the middle of the movie, Loomis also goes to the Myers house looking for Michael. Like, have you come home? And he looks around and he actually finds an eaten rat. So instead of, he's eating rats too. And then he laughs. Like, Loomis has a good laugh about that. He's like, "Oh, Michael."
He also he sets up for us the laundry chute, which will be in a big,
which is I think a really well done scene. I think there's parts of this third act between Jamie and Michael and Loomis that are the best of the movie. Before Loomis does another jump scare grabbing Jamie, Jamie escapes the children's clinic. Billy helps tell her where to go. They run to the farm party, And the
Oh,
best
Matt, we
looking
skipped
shot.
over a very important part, though.
All right, go for it.
Cookie Woman.
Oh, Cookie Woman.
Matt.
Yeah, Cookie Woman. Again, were they just playing with the city's actual landmarks at that point? You're mentioning how they're shooting on the same street.
I don't think so, because they sell Fright Rags has sold the Cookie Woman as a t-shirt. I think they did put the Cookie Woman
That's
on that.
weird.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. So anyway, this is more of Jamie's visions where she's envisioning Cookie Woman.
Who has giant cookies in her giant boobs.
Yeah, yeah.
What a choice.
Well, that's what I dream at night. The best looking shot in this movie is when Michael is literally trying to run Jamie down in the field, and she's running from the car and the headlights are there. Mm-hmm. Amazing, amazing. I love that sequence. Almost runs over Billy too. Like,
this is when the movie starts to improve, because that sequence is cool. Tina's sacrifice sort of works. Again, if Tina had been a better established character, it should have been Rachel. It's like watching it, I'm like, man, this would have really landed if this was Rachel who sacrifices herself in this moment to save her, but it still kind of works. And then they go to the house where there's some good stuff.
Yeah, so this works as a don't spoil me, Eric. I can't remember for the life of me if Donald Pleasance was alive by the time Halloween 6 came out, or if this is the last we see of him. I'm just gonna discover that on my own. But this works as I'm just gonna say, final showdown between Loomis and Michael. Loomis's rhetoric in this movie isn't like, we've heard everything he possibly has to say about Michael at this point, is like darkness, evil, all that stuff. Nothing new under the sun here. He somehow insinuates that like he's after Jamie to kill so that the rage will subside and that she can help Michael somehow. That none of that ever really manifests in a way that pays off or is clear. But the showdown elements between Loomis and Michael work as far as like an actual physical fight, and then also a showdown in as best they can, because she's a little girl, between Michael and Jamie. So there's two things going on there that work. And then Loomis using Jamie as bait, holding her while Jamie's screaming, is amazing. Like, that is one of the best parts of the entire franchise. It's just bad that it's in such a shit shamble movie.
No, this is these are the best little parts of the movie here. This is again some weird, interesting choices happening here with the actors and the casting and the characters, because we get in here also Troy Evans playing the deputy watching over Jamie. Troy Evans is a very recognizable character actor that you've seen in things. His main things, he was on ER and Bosch, has recurring, but like hundreds of episodes of both shows. He's been on a couple episodes of the Bosch spinoff about Bosch. I always think of him as the principal in the Twin Peaks pilot. I thought he was in more episodes. He's only in the pilot, but he's only
in the pilot. Yeah,
where he breaks down crying about her. He's in Demolition Man. He's in a million things. But I was also thinking, so it was cool to see Troy Evans pop up here, but also weird because he's not an established character, and then he's kind of a big part of this finale. And
it's kind of like Tina, where it's like they pop up and
because I was like, why isn't this Meeker, Matt? I said, why isn't this Meeker? Why not give Meeker something more to do? And he can die here too, but he should be the one protecting Jamie. So just this weird choices of like, we have established characters who could serve these big roles, but instead we're going to bring in these new characters. Not quite sure why they did that. Even though those actors are back. It's not like the actors weren't available. They're in the movie, but they don't use them.
Right. The fact that they actually have, what's his name? Bo Star back as Meeker. And you're right.
But he doesn't have anything important to do. Yeah.
No, except carry on after the death of his daughter, which the previous sheriff just sort of retired quickly. All right. Sheriff Brackett. So,
a nice, I will say, it is a nice unspoken thing. I like when they don't say it out loud, that they have Jamie in the window brushing her hair, which evokes Judith Myers. Mm-hmm. So it's like, this is their bait.
Troy Evans is really great as that cop, like talking to a little kid. Like, he's kind of the antithesis to Loomis, where it's like he's trying to feel like he really wants to protect her. He, like, if she knocks, he will be there to shoot. He won't succeed, but he will shoot. He actually does put a few bullets into Michael. Like, he tries, and he also is willing to give his life to save her. And so it's like this hero cop in the middle of all of this, maybe to juxtapose Loomis. Again, you could have just made the hero cop Meeker, but so Loomis takes it to Michael, but then gets taken out. He gets thrown off the landing and stuff, and he's not dead, but so he'll come back. But
Also, Loomis pulls a gun on Troy Evans. Second time in the series after Halloween 2 that Loomis has pulled a gun on a cop.
I'll say it once. I've said it once. I'll say it a million times. He is a great doctor. He's a great healthcare advocate and official, and I'm glad that he gets little kids as his patients. So he then it becomes Jamie versus Michael, or Jamie running for Michael, really, for a good stretch of this. Where,
but also I do like, again, as you said, it comes out of nowhere. The whole like, we can subside your rage. But Loomis gets to talk to Michael in a way that just has not happened. Like we talked about in 4 in the
he has that brief scene,
But this is like they're standing next to each other and he's talking to him, and it's an interesting moment, even though it's a veer.
But it works because of how it all ends with like this sort of once again, you could argue the double takedown, which is like he sacrifices his life, has a heart attack or a stroke or something, beating him with a 2x4 over and over again, having his Tommy Jarvis moment. Tommy Jarvis had also collapsed and died at the same time. But the whole like the laundry chute and the knife through the metal and like that whole part is great. Going into the attic and finding that altar, discovering Rachel, getting in the coffin, calling him uncle, making him pause. Again, what is the connection? What does he want to do with Jamie? Does he want to hug her? Does he want to stab her? Is she the cure for him? Why is he drawn to her? Why does her saying uncle make him stop? Like, we get that there's this connection.
It goes too far to me to have the close-up of him crying is I don't need.
The single tear of Michael Myers.
That was the original subtitle, by the way.
But I do feel like, are we supposed to infer that the real Michael is always in there, but he is trapped inside this vessel of dark energy rage?
The shape has taken the control. Yeah.
And like the real Michael is in there and hasn't been able to be free since he was a little kid. I don't know. But or he just thought of something that really made him sad, like all the dogs he's killed, which he should feel bad about. So
when Loomis comes back in and he grabs Jamie and just unhinged, and he's just screaming at Michael, "Little girl, come and get her!"
Little girl. It's insane. And
by the way, Donald Pleasance, I think he's great in 4, and this one he's shakier. And I think this is where there's stories about that he was drinking heavily, and they'd have to come get him from his trailer. And he was And I think there's some scenes where you can kind of see that. But I still am enjoying his performance, especially because this is such a batshit crazy version of Loomis.
Then he collapses on top of him after shooting with a bunch of tranquilizer darts. It is interesting, Eric, I will say. We did see Michael weakened at the top of this movie. Something can fell him, something can knock him for a loop. He was taken out by this. Maybe it was just the water, I don't know, but something made him pass out for a year. Is it the lack of Halloween? Did the clock strike? And he was like, "Oh,
I don't know." Halloween 2, he's still going for.
I know. We don't know what's going on right now. This is the curse of Thorn. All rules are new and/or out the window. But how he impervious to bullets to the point where like they don't even knock him to the ground anymore and take him out for a few minutes? How is he impervious to bullets where he could just keep going? But tranquilizer darts will actually make him go to sleep. So I don't know how his invulnerability works. Yeah.
I'd really like to know what Loomis's full plan was, because earlier Jamie says to him, "Can you kill him?" And Loomis says, "I think so." Insinuating
he's like, "Yeah, I think if I shoot him with a tranquilizer dart and hit him with a log, he will die. I think that's my plan." And you see him
it's like a video game where there's like a spot where he's like, if I hit him with this spot. Enough times, but so I don't know what his full plan was, but and it's a good visual, him having what seems to be having a heart attack and falling on him, and the two lifelong enemies face to face lying there, and that's a cool visual.
And then Michael's in jail where he belongs. He should just be in the prison system,
except with his mask. Which again, the moments where I couldn't, even in the moment, even as a youngster in 1989, couldn't overlook things were the dumb music and that everyone laughed at the visual of Michael wearing the mask in the cell because it's so preposterous. Like it would take the mask off him.
Then here comes the Man in Black, Galaxy Defender.
Yeah.
which is he comes in with a machine gun, like a Tommy gun. I don't know what it is.
Oh, although
And,
before that, I want to say that I do like when Meeker's like, he'll stay, they'll lock him up till the day he dies, and Jamie goes, he'll never die. I do like that.
yeah, I mean, she's accurate. She gets it. She gets it.
Right.
But this guy comes in, murders all the cops once again. Haddonfield's entire police force wiped out in an instant, and Michael is set free, and she gets to see the empty jail cell. And we leave. I remember watching this movie going, oh, like okay, what? I was not pleased with the ending when I saw it as a kid.
This is where we're different. I will
wasn't into it. Wasn't into it.
I will say this is where we're different in that I was very excited by this end, by this preposterous, like unexplained. Who the fuck is the man in black? Where did he come from? What is with the matching tattoos, which have never been there before? Why he comes with shoes? But I let myself dumbly think this is cool. What a cliffhanger. What a cliffhanger.
Yeah. I guess I was ahead of my years at the time because
I was wrong.
I think I was mostly upset that this movie, the ending of this, denied me what I really wanted for Halloween 6, which was the trial of Michael Myers. It's just a courtroom drama that was had outbursts on the stand and like objection, your honors, galore.
I think we discussed. I'm sure we talked about when we did Freddy versus Jason that.
Yeah.
One of the many scripts for that movie was the trial of Jason Voorhees,
which I still think should be, with all this teasing of a new Friday the 13th. I think that's the direction it needs to go,
right.
Or it needs to find success, or Friday the 13th needs to find newfound success the way Chucky did on TV or streaming as a series. And there's the next.
Well, they tried to do the CW series, and so they could.
I know, but I'm saying like
for the 58-year-old.
But not. It can't be CW. It has to be something with actual gore and nudity. Or I mean, at least basic cable now, which you can do. You can say fucking. You can say have gore. The finale, spoilers for the finale of Chucky, he stabbed a dozen people in their assholes. So I feel like you can get away with quite a bit on even sci-fi. You
can. A lot can happen. So we'll see. This is certainly this was a big disappointment when it came
this
out.
movie felt like a stab to the asshole in a way. But yeah, Halloween 5, we'll be back next time.
Wait, I have two last things to say.
Oh my goodness, Eric.
Two things to say. One is I just
more about how much you love the ending. Okay.
No. One thing is I stand by that. No. I really liked one of the Loomis has a really good line I liked. I liked when he said, I prayed he would burn in hell, but in my heart I knew that hell would not have him.
I think that was in the trailer I think it was used. A good line. Yeah.
When he once again shows his burnt arm, this time to Meeker. Also just mentioning that I mentioned this earlier, it's weird. We don't know if Meeker died. Like last time we see him is in the sheriff's
clinic.
Office. Yeah. But we don't see his body discernibly, so we're not clear if he dies. And then I also want to mention that Halloween 4 and 5, in the credits, being amused to see the name Mike Lookaland. Mike Lookaland played Bobby Brady on the original Brady Bunch, but at this point in his career was working behind the scenes. He was a production assistant on Halloween 4 and then returned on Halloween 5 as an assistant cameraman and doing additional photography. So
listen, why would Loomis was showing his arm to Meeker?
Yes, when basically when they're having
Meeker lost his daughter,
and that's the scene where
was Meeker gonna like pull up his and he pulls up Kelly's dead body to show him back like hey I'm
trying to remember that because there's also a continuity error in that scene because he goes my memory goes back 12 years. When it should be 11 because the events of Halloween 1 and 2 were 11 years before, but whatever. Yeah, and then he's like, look, I burnt my arm. And he's like, yeah, my daughter's still dead.
So. All right. That's all I want to say about this
movie. Film. All right. Next week to the curse.
Next week to the much better movie. Not as far as I know, but I will be watching it for the first time. All right. Until then, everything is possible, but nothing is real. And Shakma.
Shakma. Shakma!